Hi guys, it's Charlotte here from charlotteohara.ca, and today we are going to be talking all about logos. So logos are one of the most important parts of branding, and whether you're working off of a website or more of a physical brand, the logo is going to be one of the key players. So when people think about branding, oftentimes they think about things like the color palette and the typography or the font pairings that you're using, but the major thing that comes to mind that, first off of design elements is the logo. And logos can really have a huge impact on how you present yourself as a business, but then also too how people interact with you as well. So what you're putting forward with your design has a huge reflection on what people are going to interpret you as. So there's a couple different things that we'd like to talk about when it comes to having a really solid logo design, and I'm going to walk you through those things. So first off, you want a logo that is going to be memorable. So sometimes you'll notice that in certain industries, all the logos start to sort of look the same. If you're in, let's say, a floral or wedding related industry, you might have a ton of cursive logos, like, that have a cursive font. Or maybe on the flip side, if you're more of a professional business, they might be a lot more formal with just like text-based, maybe a little underline underneath it. And anyways, they start to all sort of look the same. So if you're designing a logo or choosing one for your brand or business, you want to make sure it's memorable and that it sticks out a little bit. It shouldn't be totally out of left field either. Like, you don't want to, uh, go completely off base or step out of your logos, like your industry, too much. But at the same point too, it should stand out compared to the others. All right, the next thing too that we're going to talk about is a strategic logo. So what might work for you personally, or what you think is a beautiful logo, might not necessarily be the right choice. And here's why. So when you're creating a logo, the whole point of it is so that you're speaking to your ideal customer or client, so that the people that you are intending to reach in your audience see your logo and they're like, yep, that speaks to me on some level. So you want to make sure that you're creating a logo or choosing a design that you like based on what your ideal audience is going to be drawn to and what connects with them. Third one we're going to talk about is make sure that your logo is legible. So this is a problem that comes up oftentimes if people are using a much more romantic font, or if they're using like a cursive thing. And sometimes the letters or even the words themselves might not necessarily look like what you think they're going to be looking like. So there's been tons of examples online of like mishaps where using a certain font on a logo ends up looking like a totally different one. And that's what you want to avoid. So if you're in doubt and you're using, if you're ever in doubt basically on the logo, run it past a couple different people first of all to get their point of view. So say, hey, like, is this clear to read? Can anyone read it? Is it legible basically? And you want to make sure that that works both for a logo that will be in a digital space, but then also that it works if you use it somewhere else, like on a printed version. So then the fourth point, sorry, is that we want to make sure that your logo design is going to be consistent. So with this, you want to remember that you're going to be using your logo in many different places. For example, on your website, maybe on your social media channels, on the footer of a blog post graphic, all of these different places. So you want to make sure that the logo that you're choosing works in different places. And this goes along the lines too of the fact that with consistency in logo design, you don't want to be swapping your logo out every couple of weeks or months even. So getting a good logo that will grow with your brand is very important. And that's not to say that you can't ever change your logo, but you want to try to stick with something that will last through several stages of your brand evolution. And the final point that I want to talk about is versatility with your logo. So your logo should work in various different sizes, whether you're going to be using a small space like the profile picture on your social media profile, or maybe a larger space like if you're going to be printing out to use at a conference or something, like it's going to be a much larger logo. So you want to make sure it holds up in those different spaces. The logo should also fit different sizing requirements too. So for example, you might be assigned a space for your logo that's a little bit more vertical versus horizontal. So in those cases, you want to make sure that you're having variations of the same logo design so that you can still work and look good in different situations. All right, so that is a good introduction to some of the basic steps you should keep in mind when choosing and designing a logo. There's a lot of different factors that go into getting a strong logo, but it's totally possible and something that you can achieve for your brand and your website. So I recommend if you're going for a logo, you can of course take the do-it-yourself route. If you're more of a designer or you've got some like creativity in it, you can work with a designer directly to make sure you get a totally customized logo that really works with your branding as well. But then a third option is there's always places where you can go and get logo templates online. And these are a really good option if you're just getting your feet wet, starting out, and want something that's works well in lots of different formatting and is, just a really good entry point to a logo until you decide to upgrade to a more like personalized logo in the future. So I hope this helps give you an introduction to logos and some of the considerations you should have when choosing and picking a design for it. If you do have any questions, be sure to leave a comment down below. And if you like this video, hit the subscribe button, which is the red button down below. And on my website, charlotteohara.ca, there's a ton more articles and videos all about design, website development, Squarespace, business, all sorts of things. So hop on over, the link is down below in the profile. And thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Bye now.